My name is Fred Okono. I'm head of operations at Starehe Boys Centre at this time. But most importantly, probably, I'm an old student of the school, having spent 6 years here from Form 1 to Form 6. The transformation work that we are currently carrying out at the school is essentially about 4 elements, which are what define Starehe and what's supposed to define Stareheans. The first of these is about restoring a culture of care, which is what Starehe is about. In fact, our mission is to provide care and education to boys in need and transform them into exemplary and productive members of society. That is our mission at Starehe. So the first thing about the transformation agenda is restoring that culture of care. We want to restore the excellence in academics that we had previously and in co-curricular activities. We want to restore the character formation and leadership elements that are an important part of the Starehe character. And finally, we want to restore that whole concept of Starehe as a character building institution with an emphasis on self-discipline, self-leadership, and of course service to society. Right from its foundation in 1959, Starehe has relied on individuals and organizations of goodwill to support our mission. This school was built, developed, grown on charitable support. It was a vision of our founder, the late Dr. Jeffrey Griffin, that at some point the primary benefactors of Starehe will be Stareheans. Boys who themselves went through Starehe and have made it in life to a large extent because of the opportunity that Starehe offered them. And so it is in this context that over the last 5-6 years, OSS has grown in prominence as a benefactor of the school. In addition to individual donations that individual old boys have made, donations made by groups of old boys, either as class groups or house groups or some other group formation, we have received support directly from activities of the OSS, the biggest of which, of course, is the annual dinner. Right now, we have 11 boys in this school that are here because of the OSS annual dinner. The OSS is paying their fees and hopefully will continue to pay their fees, covering their tuition, their upkeep, their clothes, their medical care, and everything else that entails being a child at Starehe. I can divide the areas of need into 5 broad categories. The first category is operational needs. We need to be able to feed the boys 3 times a day. Okay, at 6:30 in the morning they expect their breakfast, at 1 o'clock they expect their lunch, at 6:45 in the evening they expect their supper. We've got to provide that. We've got to provide them educational supplies. We have to meet their health needs. We have to meet their needs for certain clothing elements, certain other utility supplies like shoe polish and that kind of thing. So that's one category. The second category is in restoring our infrastructure. Most of our buildings are decades old. The average age of a Starehe building now, I'd say, is probably something between 30 and 35 years, and the only reason why they continue to remain usable is because they have been very well maintained over the years. That has lapsed a little bit and we need to get back to that standard. So we need to restore our infrastructure. The third category is that we need in some areas to build fresh infrastructure. So for example, given the security situation of our immediate neighborhood, we need to build perimeter walls where we haven't had walls before. We are increasingly feeling the need for bathroom and changing facilities in our sports fields, and that kind of thing. So we do need fresh infrastructure as well. So that is the third category. The fourth category of needs are those with respect to the sustainability of the school going forward. We have thrived on traditional fundraising, but that's becoming increasingly difficult, which means we have to build our own fundraising and resource mobilization infrastructure. This involves people, it involves information systems, it involves building certain networks. So there is that need to revamp and make our fundraising mechanisms more innovative, more creative, to make sure we can achieve sustainability going into the future. Then the fifth area of need is not directly financial, but it's more about time and presence. One of the things we are trying to do with the transformation agenda is to restore the Starehe culture, what we call the Starehe way. And this can only be done through close interaction with all Stareheans, interacting with their houses, interacting with their classes, interacting with the clubs they were in when they were in Starehe. So we need presence, presence, presence. We need a lot more old boys coming in here to talk to our younger brothers, to mentor them, to guide them, to inspire them. I'd appeal to alumni, if there is any group in the world today that understands what Starehe is about, that knows what Starehe can achieve, it is old Stareheans. This is the one group that we do not have to explain to what Starehe is about. This is the group that must therefore support Starehe going into the future. So I'd really urge you, my brothers and sisters, to provide the support in any and every way that you can. Jazz a table if you can, that 70,000 bob, either as an individual or you together with other brothers and sisters. Let us do this. Let's do the 59 for 59, that 59,000 shillings to mark Starehe celebrating its 59th anniversary this year. Let's do that if we can. And every little bit counts. To quote an extract from our charge, remember, it's each one according to his means. Let us do this. We can do it. It is in perfect keeping with the vision of Dr. Griffin, and we do have a moral obligation to do it.